In this video, we're going to go over the sacroiliac joint pain muscle and how to release it for instant relief. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Dr. Rowe coming to you from SpineCare in St. Joseph, Michigan. In this video, we're going to focus on a main cause of sacroiliac joint pain, which is due to a blend of weakness and tightness in the muscles that help support them. If you're unfamiliar with the sacroiliac joint, commonly known as the SI joint, it is the union of the sacrum and the ilium of the pelvis, and it acts as a shock absorber for the spine above. The main muscles that help support this area include the glutes, Iliopsoas, and the Erector Spinae muscle groups, and a couple other ones. So to make getting relief easy, we're going to break the video down into exercises that are going to focus on lengthening, but more importantly, strengthening these muscles for both quick and long-lasting relief. Each exercise is going to target a different muscle group. So to get the best results, go through them all, use what gives you the most relief. With that being said, let's get started. So when I deal with sacroiliac joint pain myself, this is usually the first exercise that I like to start off with. It's going to target the two main instigators of SI joint pain, which would be the glutes and the piriformis muscles. To get into position, we're going to lie flat on our back in bed or on a floor. Have your legs roughly hip width apart, knees bent, feet flat, and just take your hands, put them off to your side during the exercise for support. So whatever side that you're having the most amount of pain, let's say it's your right side, take that side's ankle and place over your other side's knee. So when you look up, it should look like a figure 4. What we're going to do from here is take this bent knee and gently press it away from us as much as we can, but don't use your hands. Instead, use your leg and hip strength. The more that you press into it, the more that you're going to feel a ton of muscles across the hip and pelvis start to fire. This would include the glutes and the piriformis. So once you feel that, let's hold this position and now add in some more movement to target these muscles. So I'm going to slowly lower my legs like this towards one side, focusing on moving through my hips, through my pelvis. When you do this, you should feel a really good stretch form right below the belt line off to the side. That would be the sacroiliac joint. And if it is locked up, you might get a sudden pop, crack, or release with this exercise. So don't be alarmed if that happens. But just go for a deep, light stretch in that area. Try to hold this for a couple seconds, and then just like a windshield wiper, we're going to go towards the other side. It'll hit the muscles just a little bit differently. But go back and forth about 5 to 10 times, and with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it's nice and loose, we're going to move on to the next part. But if it feels like it needs a little bit more, you're more than welcome to throw in some more repetitions. Just remember, whatever you do on one side, always do on the other to help keep everything in balance. So after everything is nice and loose, let's switch gears and now focus a little bit more on strengthening these muscles for long-lasting relief. We're going to do what is called a clamshell bridge. So we're going to take our feet, press them together like this, and then gently press our heels downward into the bed or the floor. You should feel the glutes around the hips start to activate. Let's hold this and now take the bent knees right here and then wing them outward as much as we can downward towards the floor until we feel a really good stretch form on the inner part of the thigh that works towards the groin into the hips. Once we feel that, we're going to hold this position. Next, let's brace our core muscles. It's kind of like when somebody pokes you in your stomach, how you tense up. Mimic that and hold it. It'll help protect the spine. So once we've done all of this, what we're going to do is slowly lift our hips upward towards the ceiling as much as we can until our body is in a nice straight line from our knees to our hips to our shoulders. If you're unable to get into this position because of weakness or pain, like you can only go up a little, do the best you can. Hopefully over time you will gain strength and flexibility to be able to get in this position. But in this position, you're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire. The core, the lower back, the butt, the legs, everything that helps support the pelvis, hips, and sacroiliac joints. Hold this one comfortably for about 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat this about 10 times. But if it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. With this exercise, we're going to focus on the iliopsoas muscle, which functions as a hip flexor. With weakness and tightness, you tend to get a lot of pain towards the front of your thighs into the groin, but also working through the pelvis into the lower back. So with this exercise, we're going to start flat on our back next to a wall. What we want to do is bend our elbows roughly at 90 degrees, make fists, and gently press our fist into the wall until we feel a light activation of our core muscles. Once we feel that, we're going to hold that and then lift our legs up like this and have our knees bent at 90 degrees. The first movement is just slowly lowering one leg like this downward towards the floor, just straightening the knee. But the key is don't let your heel or your foot touch the floor. Just let it hover above. In this position, you're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire, including the core right here that works down into the pelvis, into the leg. Hold this one comfortably for about 3 to 5 seconds and then relax. Repeat it on the other side. What I like to do is about 5 repetitions on both sides. Just get everything nice and warmed up and loose. But afterwards, this is how we're going to take this one to the next level. We're going to do like a bicycling motion just like this. So start off doing a bicycling motion for about 5 seconds, relax. On the next repetition, what you want to do is straighten your legs out just a little bit more and then repeat. The further that you push your feet out like this, the harder this will be. So build into it to your comfort level. Just challenge yourself as much as you can. So if you really want to take this one to the next level, what you can do is what is called flutter kicks. So let's lower both feet down like this, straighten our knees, and I like to point my toes away from me. Let's just flutter kick like this. So we're going to raise both legs up, both feet, and just gently kick like we're in a pool. Again, you're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire in the core, but more importantly, right on the front of the thighs. Try to do this for about 5 seconds. Relax, take a breather, and then repeat this about 5 times. But if it feels like you have the energy, challenge yourself by throwing in a couple more repetitions. A big overlooked cause of sacroiliac joint pain comes from weakness and tightness in the Erector Spinae muscle group. These muscles pretty much run the whole length of the spine and are included in the core muscle group. So here's a really easy exercise that will lengthen and strengthen them, hopefully give you a lot of relief. What we're going to do is start on all fours in bed or on a floor. This first movement is called the bird dog. It's one of the best exercises that you can do to pretty much strengthen the whole body and also help improve balance and coordination. So what I'm going to do first is slowly straighten one leg back like this, right at the knee, and I'm going to point my toes away from me at the same time. Just keep the top of your foot flat on the bed or the floor, slide it away until you feel a really good activation of the muscles in the calves that works upward towards the back of your legs, into the hamstrings, into the glutes. Really focus on feeling it across your pelvis around the SI joint. Once you feel that, you're going to hold that position and then slowly raise your leg up like this so it's in a straight line with your body. You should feel a ton of muscles start to fire, including the glutes, but more importantly, you should really feel it in the lower back. That would be the spinal erectors starting to fire. So I like to hold this one for about 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat this on the other side. And I just do this one nice and slowly for about 5 to 10 repetitions on both sides. But if it feels like you have a little bit more energy, you're more than welcome to challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. So to take this one to the next level, what you can do is add in what is called a hydrant, which is going to also help strengthen the glute muscles. So this one looks a little bit weird. I'm going to forewarn you. This time around, we're going to keep our knee bent at 90 degrees and just raise one side up like this. And then swing your whole body, kind of like turning it upward like this, towards the ceiling, including your head. So the more that you rotate and look upward, now you know why we call it the hydrant, you're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire. But this time around, you should feel it more around the hips into the glute muscles, the buttocks. Hold this one comfortably for about 3 to 5 seconds. You're going to relax, and then you're going to repeat this on the other side. Do this one nice and slowly for about 5 to 10 repetitions. But again, if it feels like you have a little bit more energy, try to challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. With this exercise, we're going to focus on the Quadratus Lumborum, also known as the QL muscle. The Quadratus Lumborum is a main stabilizer of the lower back, sacrum, and the pelvis. So when weakness and tightness sets into this muscle, it can cause a lot of lower back pain that works downward towards the belt line, even into the SI joint. So this exercise is called the step up. All we need is a step or a stair. So let's break it down. I always like to start with the most painful side off the step. So I'm going to demonstrate what to do if you have a lot of right-sided sacroiliac joint pain. So let's take our left foot, put it right up here at the edge. The other foot is going to go off just like this. During this exercise too, let's try to keep our body nice and straight. So don't try to lean away like this to be able to raise the hip. Instead, we're going to raise our hip upward towards the ceiling by moving through our hip, through our pelvis as much as we can while keeping our body straight. The more that you go up, the more that you're going to feel a lot of muscles start to fire, including the glutes around the hips, but more importantly, you're going to feel a lower back muscle right at the belt line area and right off to the side of the spine that works upward towards the bottom of the ribs. That would be the Quadratus Lumborum. So really focus on feeling it in that area. Once you do, hold this position right here comfortably for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then you're going to go in reverse. So you're going to slowly lower your foot and heel downward towards the floor, again moving through the pelvis, through your hips. This time around, you're going to feel a deep stretch form on the other side. So we're going to focus on strengthening one side, but stretching the other. That's why this exercise is really, really good. Try to hold that one comfortably for 3 to 5 seconds and then repeat this whole cycle about 5 to 10 times on both sides. But if it does feel like you have a little bit more energy, I do recommend throwing in another set or two. And remember, whatever you do on one side, always switch to the other side and repeat to help keep everything in balance. If the exercises help, please support the channel by giving this video a like and maybe subscribing too. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.